Hello, and welcome to Small Screen Live. I hope you guys are all doing very, very well. Before we get into the show, if you could please like and subscribe and share wherever you guys are watching, that would be fantastic. We do put this out as a podcast later on, and that's called the Small Screen Podcast. If you could give that a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, and also if you listen on Spotify, I think you can rate things over there now as well. That would be wonderful as well. We've got loads of stuff to talk to you guys about today. We have the whole team. The whole team is here. Got James and Shaun waiting in the wings. But tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about Deadpool 3. We're going to be talking about Karen Page news, Andy Samberg, Fantastic Four, Blockbuster versus Netflix. We might talk a little bit about that. John Wick 5 news, Sam Raimi, and coming back to Marvel, doing more stuff with Marvel. And you know what? I'm going to ask... we're also going to be talking about Barry, but I'm also going to ask James a little bit about Robert Rodriguez, because I want to get his opinion on everything that's been going on recently with the Hypnotic movie release. Hasn't been doing very well. But I hope you guys are doing all very, very well in the chat. So who do we have in the chat before we bring everybody in? We have Danzig, 1979, waving hello. Hello, Danzig. I hope you're doing very well. We have this bloody comment, which will never leave us, is always here, is what did we think of the Book of Boba Fett episode 3? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Well, yes, we probably might talk a little bit about that later on in the show when we start discussing a little bit of Robert Rodriguez stuff, because he, of course, was the director of that episode, I believe. And who else do we have? We have Kevin Feige saying, stop spilling the secrets. Yes, I wish he... I do wonder what he thinks sometimes. I think honestly, as far as scoopers go, I think they seem to think the Marvel's fair game and they can kind of come up with anything they want to, because Kevin Feige doesn't say anything and nobody really says anything. So that's why you probably see so many Marvel scoops and very few DC scoops, because people are a bit scared of James Gunn. Although he says he's stopping doing that now. He's stopping outing people on Twitter. Who else do we have in the chat? We have... Cheap Jack Shakespeare saying Twilight, yes. Twilight, very good. Something that I still need to watch. I still need to watch. I've been so busy. I need to watch Shaun's movie. I will do. Shaun's shaking his fist at me right now. And we also have Shaun's soundtracks and other stuff saying, hey, everyone. Hello, Shaun. I hope you're doing well. And we have Stay Lifted Productions here as well saying, well, hello there. I'm waiting. No, we're not going to get it. Okay. Danzig saying a jam-packed show. Yes, we really do have a jam-packed show. Even though it was a relatively slow news week, there was a lot of stuff that happened today that we can talk about, mainly the Deadpool 3 stuff. Who else do we have? I think is that everybody? Yes, we've already...
Hello there.
There you go. That was what I was waiting for before. And who else do we have? We've already done this comment, James. Stay Lifted Productions, what about me? And then Small Screen Live saying, yo, Barry, you're in the wrong chat. I don't know what's going on in the chat, guys. I don't know what's happening. Al Goodman is here saying, hope everyone is well. And I think that's everybody. Thoughts on From? From Stay Lifted Productions. Yes, From is I watched the first season. It's a really good show, the first season. I haven't had the time to watch the second season yet, but I've heard good things. I've heard very good things. I think for me, it's from the creators of Lost, I think, and I think it has the potential to be even better than that show, because that show did not stick the landing. Oh, we do have someone else. We have Jedi Master EJ saying hello there as well. Hello, Jedi Master.
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
There you go. And we've got, of course, the legend. This is Bobby Anderson saying, and me. I hope you're doing well, Bobby. Right, I think that's everybody. And we've got this. This is somebody. I cannot remember who this is.
I think that's her nephew.
Oh, is that Bobby's? Is that Bobby's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we do have one more person in the chat. We've got Kazakhs coming in. So Stephen King loves this show even more than he loves the Flash movie. Are you talking about From? I think you're probably talking about From. Stephen, you're not talking about this show. I'm pretty sure you're not. Stephen King isn't one of our regular viewers, but yes, I've heard there has been news about Stephen King saying that he loved the Flash movie, and I have heard that he's also a very big fan of the show From. Right, let's bring everyone in. Let's bring everyone into the show and get everyone talking about cool stuff. I almost said cool grandson because Bobby there.
And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing.
I think Shaun is muted. Oh, unless I am.
How's that?
There we go. That's good.
Hey, thanks for waiting so long for something. So, thanks.
How you?
How many more of these?
There you go. That's the old show.
I say that every day.
So how are you doing, Shaun? You were rudely cut off.
But as opposed to every other Tuesday, I'm doing great.
I never. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
No,
He's back.
I have no concentration to break.
Yeah. Well, this is if you do a show with James and he's on point. This is what he loves to do. It's meme culture.
Bobby says her grandson is 18 now and still loves Spider-Man, which is cool.
Yeah, which is cool. Everybody loves Spider-Man. I was actually, there are some YouTube channels that they like to just kind of go over comic books, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm hearing I know it's really hot where you are, so you've got the fan going. But leave it on. Otherwise, you'll be a mess, a sweating mess.
I can do this.
Yeah, it might be for the best, unfortunately. I'm sorry, but no, it's just one of these YouTube channels where they just go over comic books. And one of the comic books they were going over today was a Spider-Man one, which seems really weird. Which was Spider-Man he's literally just turned into a spider and he fights Baron Zemo in the jungle. And the
70s one, or is there a new one?
It looked relatively new, I think, this one. And I was thinking, God, that's actually quite a cool idea, and it's all about a lot of it's about Peter Parker's kind of fight to find his own humanity, and it just kind of instilled in me the idea that actually there's so much more to that character that we know. They've done a lot with that character over the years, and a lot of people often talk about the fact that Spider-Man is so powerful and only uses like a fraction of his power because he's a nice guy and doesn't want to kill anybody. But yeah, we're talking about this, of course, because Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is coming out this week, and that's the big release. And I've heard good things about it.
My favorite period in that book's history was when it was 50% Spider-Man fighting somebody and 50% Peter Parker's pals and gals, because that was something like I could really relate to. And I was reading the reprints in Marvel Tales in the 70s and the 80s, and I feel like it lost a lot when it left that. I think Dan Slott does actually a pretty good job of that. I usually bitch about comic book writing, but I do enjoy Dan Slott's stuff a lot.
Yeah. I think you can keep your mic on now. It's a bit better, Shaun. I think it's okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, it'll be a bit annoying for you every time you want to talk. Yeah, exactly. So, there's been quite a lot of stuff in literally the last 24 hours. And yeah, Spider Quack that spider bell, whatever that is. Spider Pig.
Spider Quack, he cannot cure anyone.
There it is. But yeah, there's been a lot of Deadpool 3 news. I don't know if you had the time to look on small screen today, Shaun, but
there's going to be an MCU villain and a returning X-Men villain. Is that the big news for today?
So the big news is a lot of returning X-Men characters and stars of the old X-Men movies. So apparently they're going to be two X-Men original X-Men movie villains. I won't give you to get I'm pretty sure you know who they are. I think everybody does. I think
what's Sir Ian up to these days?
Exactly. If it's not one or both of the Magnetos, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
Because they're not really doing much. Like what's Sir Ian doing these days? I think he's mostly on the West End probably. Yeah. And Michael Fassbender
with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, exactly. They just
Yeah. No, they're smoking cigarettes and remembering the '60s together.
Do you remember the time?
Yes, of course I do.
Of course I do. Can you fetch me the tea, Patrick?
Yes, please remember I was knighted before you.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what they fight about.
Yeah.
No, I met the queen first. I quite like the two of them together. I think they're very funny. They remind me a bit of. I don't know if you've ever watched the show that David Tennant is it? I always get it. It's not Martin Shannon. No, Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen.
Oh,
not Martin
Good
Sheen.
Omens.
No, they did that, but then they also did one where they're literally just doing what we do, and they're just talking on Zoom. It was during
yes,
David.
yeah.
It's very funny. The two of them together remind me a bit of Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. They have that same kind of it's clear to see they're very good friends, but they also kind of like to make fun of each other quite a bit, which is clear. Called staged. Yeah, that's
their time is coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, but then again, I will tell everyone to take all this news with a pinch of salt because it does come from a scooper on Twitter that calls himself "Can we get toast?"
So is this a new anonymous Twitter
scooper? I think it's the same. I think it's probably my time to shine. Hello, or whatever she calls herself.
I dig Kaz's comment right now.
What's telling me that both Magnetos will be stuck in the same movie? Yeah, probably.
It'll be Days of Future Past all over again.
Exactly.
But they'll be stuck because they'll be magnetized to each other.
Very good.
That's their polar opposite.
But do we have a rim shot, James?
I did, but Kaz deserves this.
Yeah, and Danzig says, "Trust me, bro," which is this is what comes up. This is what people like to say to scoopers.
Yeah.
It's like because
made it up.
Yeah.
What's the scooper's name again?
Can we get some toast? And it's someone that I've noticed my time to shine. Hello, which is just the weirdest name. Is very much promoting this person.
I missed Twitter has become Usenet, where there were certain Usenet users who would put up and just say, these people are going to be in this movie, and post a cast list for like a Supergirl movie starring Faye Dunaway, or as Supergirl this time, not as the fake villainess. And you come to realize that some of these people don't really know what they're writing, and what they're writing is, I would like to see, this is what I would like to see, and instead they would say, this is happening.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is how slow the news has been this week. Is that we're going to these people on Twitter to try and talk about something.
This stuff always amazes me because you have like this anonymous Twitter scooper, probably started on Reddit, joined last year, and has 28,000 followers. This is like how My Time to Shine started.
Yeah, now everyone says that My Time to Shine is a girl. That's fine. Is a lady. That's fine. I don't know how they know.
No, well, they said it in a tweet.
Okay.
I don't believe it. I don't care really. But the thing that gets me is like these anon scoopers come over and they have like tens of thousands of followers right away. Like, do they buy them, or are they just like people just want to be fed? But
or is
it like the scoopers that put their name on it and no one listens to them?
Or is it an operation? Is it a PR operation of some kind?
Well, that's always my second guess too. Like
this is when you read it, some of the stuff that they say sounds a bit too childish to be a PR operation. I think you can kind of tell when it's a PR operation.
But that's what I always ask is like, is this a PR operation from Marvel or DC? Whenever or when scoopers get leaks, it's always how much is being fed from the company, right? So
yeah, what I do know to be the PRs, often a lot of the fan accounts are actually run by PRs. So the big one was the character's name in Spider-Man, the bully Flash Thompson. Is that his name? Thompson?
Yeah.
So there was a Flash Thompson fan account, and that was run by PRs, and they kind of I can't remember what they spoiled, but they spoiled something by accident in No Way Home before the release of that one. So they kind of stopped doing that. I think because they're a bit worried about, because of course what they do. I used to work for one of these companies. They just outsource it out to social media companies that run people's social media accounts. Mm-hmm. So I think I've said it before. I used to run GoPro's UK account, and among others, among like HTC, Vive, and that was my job as a community manager. And it's literally just they tell you, oh, just make sure the community is active and constantly talking. And people, a lot of these people don't really know what they're writing. I've never used a GoPro in my life, and I was in charge of their social media accounts in the UK. So you can imagine the kind of people they get to put in charge of they're in charge of these social media accounts, and they will make mistakes, and then they'll get eventually fired.
They're just like development executives.
Yeah, basically. Basically.
I have a degree in communications from Rutgers. Have I got a job for you?
Yeah.
Would you like to be social media person for Delissio Pizza?
Yeah. Would you like to be Kenny G's head of social media?
Yeah. But with these anonymous scoopers, I think it's mostly former Redditors that just have moved to Twitter because, I don't know, maybe it's easier on there.
They can sell NFTs later.
Well, that's what I remember. That's literally happened with My Time to Shine. She got into a lot of trouble because she started selling NFTs. But the other thing is that how do they can't really monetize this unless they go down the Daniel Rickman route, which is put everything behind a Patreon wall, like paywall, which is what that guy did. And kind of you don't really hear much from him anymore, apart from the occasional thing.
Took his money and went to Belize.
Probably.
I think it's just a dopamine hit for the Twitter.
Yeah, I think so. I think so as well. But Dan Zig saying people keep on saying My Time. Grace Randolph. Is it Randolph?
Randolph,
no.
Yeah.
Randolph. Yeah, she's a big one, isn't she? On yeah, I know about her. I know her. Well. Whatever she does. Greeting all. Just got done cooking supper for the kids. No, not knuckle supper. Oh, so you're not hitting your kids. That's good.
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
Yeah. So the other thing that this anonymous scooper was saying was that this Deadpool 3 movie is going to add other original X-Men actors to the cast, and they're saying that Halle Berry, Famke Janssen, and James Marsden are all going to reprise their roles as Storm, Jean Grey, and Cyclops.
There was something the other day where Halle Berry posted a picture and her hair was white, and somebody said, "Yeah, this is for Storm."
This is something that I think is just a very well-educated guess. I think this birthday scoop is "Can we get some toast?" said. Such a stupid name, but
It's almost as stupid as Clarence Thomas. There, I said it.
Here we go again.
Better if the name was, I don't know if you'll get this reference, Shaun, but I smell bread.
I smell bread.
It was a line someone said in MASH before they died in this show.
Oh, wow. That's a deep cut.
That's a very deep cut.
I've seen all those. I was obsessed with that show when I was younger, but I don't remember that.
When if this is true, I'm just very excited to see James Marsden be killed in the first 3 minutes of the movie again, and because that would, I can see Ryan Reynolds doing something like that.
Yeah,
being like, what's going on, James? Being like, let's get James Marsden in to just like shit all over him again, like he gets done in every single movie he's in, unless it's Westworld where he's in that for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, and then get shit on.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know what else people want to make a movie star. He's a really good actor. He's really handsome. He can sing. He can dance. But it's okay. What were you looking for that he didn't have?
I know. It's kind of crazy to me. The guy is very talented. Yet he seems to, every movie he's in, he's either playing a dumb boyfriend or someone that ends up getting killed in the first 3 minutes of the movie or gets very few lines. I don't understand it, but I think he's becoming more and more popular. So good for him. But Chase doing. Here we go. Okay, so this is the proof that we needed.
I wasn't disputing it.
No. And also, it's it's not working.
Did you guys hear it? It's really low.
No, it's not.
But it's got the Martian Manhunter in it from the original Justice League movie.
It's not working.
Huh.
Oh well.
Let me see here.
Oh well. Technical difficulties.
I did see him go.
The what's it called? The other. Okay, here we go.
I smell bread. I don't understand.
So yeah, that should have been his Twitter name.
Well, that's a very deep cut. I knew you would have got. I knew you and other MASH fans would have got that.
Danzig, that is David Ogden Stiers.
Danzig, very knowledgeable. Kazakh saying Bryan Singer hates Cyclops. That's why. Yeah, I get.
Rightfully so.
Because he wants to have an affair with Jean Grey? I don't think so.
I always thought it was really weird. Like, okay, Danzig says, I'm just hoping if this is true. Sorry, if this is the last Hugh Jackman performance as Wolverine, any chance he can wear a costume even if it's for 5 seconds? I'm pretty sure they will get him in it.
I thought they said he was going to wear. I thought they already confirmed he's going to be in a comic accurate costume for some scenes.
I think you might be right. Yeah, I think they might have confirmed that already. And it's something that everyone's wanted for so long. So I don't see why not. But the fact of the matter is that Hugh Jackman is not a comic book accurate Wolverine.
No,
he never was.
He's too tall.
Too tall, not hairy enough.
Doesn't sound Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. He's too Australian.
Yeah.
And he's too good looking. That's the other thing. He's too handsome. But no one would react very well to an ugly Wolverine nowadays. That's the thing. This is what Hugh Jackman's done to that character.
God damn him for being handsome and talented.
Exactly.
Fuck you, Hugh Jackman. You and your goddamn iconic performance.
But the other bit of news about this Deadpool movie is that Ryan Reynolds has been banned from improvising on Deadpool 3. Now, I had a bit of fun with that headline because there he is. He hasn't been banned from improvising. It's more the fact that he can't because of the writer's strike. The script was locked in before the writer's strike started, which kind of means I think legally they have to stick to it. Is that right?
Well, legally because of the contract.
Yeah.
So nobody can work on it, so they have to stick what's there, and nobody's supposed to be technically writing on the set. There are different rules for different strikes, and this one they're whole hog. Everybody's done.
Yeah. So, but even that people are like, oh, but why can't he? Because he's a credited writer, and it's like, yeah, but he's not allowed to be a writer. Yeah, he can't be a writer on set, and if you start improvising, I know it's technically not writing, but it would be changing the script. So actually for that movie, it's going to be a bit of a problem.
They changed the rules. I think. I think when they do the strike, they take a vote. Because I remember a few years ago there was a writer's strike, and the late night hosts were allowed to go on as long as they wrote their own monologues.
Yeah.
But I guess this one they're going even further and saying no, nobody's doing nothing. And yeah, I mean, I think that a lot. I wonder how much the charm from his performances comes from him improvising on the set, or
Yeah, he said lots in the first two. I think what would be smart if they just shot all the action scenes. A lot of the B-roll stuff, and then hopefully the strike be over, and then they can start doing the dialogue scenes.
Strike could be going for a long time. A month from today, we'll get an idea how far it's going to go. I think because a month from today, the June 30th, the SAG Screen Actors Guild and the DGA Directors Guild contracts are up. So could have all of them out at the same time.
God. Yeah.
And SAG is also AFTRA, so in the States, so that covers like news people and things like that too. Sorry, Edward.
Right.
No, well, it's a complete mess, and So this Deadpool 3 is currently filming in the UK. So I think it's filming in Pinewood or somewhere like that. Maybe where's the one in Watford? It's not Pinewood. It's the one that wrote the book was written about.
Ealing.
Ealing. That's it. Not Watford. Ealing. Pinewood, I think, is near Watford. Ealing is near Ealing.
That's why. I knew that, and I was confused.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a long. Even though there's not much news, it's been a long day for me because there have been a number of articles going up, and editing takes it out of me. Honestly, when you have to edit so much, and especially when you're editing AI. But yeah. So what I was wondering is that, because I mean the writer's strike it affects Hollywood, but does it affect the whole film industry? I would have thought not.
No, anything under a SAG or WGA contract. So, for instance, the Deadpool movie is a Fox/Disney movie. It's under their contract, but it happens to be shot in the UK, probably because they got some kind of sweet soundstage deal over there, and also because Reynolds has other business interests in the UK, so he can zip down for a game in Wales.
Yeah, you can go to Wales.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Our power just flickered.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good. I was going to say.
If James's power goes out, Edward and I are trapped online forever.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit like James is living in a war zone.
Let me just pull this up in case I disconnect. You guys have that the whole show.
How are things in Kyiv, James?
James? Oh, he's gone. He can't speak.
Like high winds outside or anything, so that was weird. Maybe there's construction again.
They're digging up. They dug up in front of you. They dug up behind you. Now they're beside you.
Yeah,
now they're in the house.
It's just like the charge of the light brigade all over again. Construction in front of me. Construction behind me.
Or
I was going to say it's
poltergeist kind of situation.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it's more like Alien. You know, the scene in Alien when it's just. It's right above you. It's right above you. It's not here. It's right above you.
Nope.
No, I was just listening to the Mitchell Web where they do that, where they find the lost recording of Alfred Lloyd Tennyson reading his poetry.
I didn't watch that one. The Mitchell Web one that I remember was the Are we the bad guys?
Are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? That's the first sketch on the first episode.
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean, they had done that on the radio before. You know, to have that like I discovered them years later, but to have that your first shot out of the box, like, all right, boys, you can retire now because you will be remembered forever.
The other one of those I remember is the presentation that David Mitchell's doing, and then he's like, right, any questions? And then I think she says H. He's like, what? H? You just shoots her. I always thought that was really funny. Then it just ends up getting worse and worse, and then he shoots himself, I think, because he says something wrong. Yeah. Peep Show is very good as well. If you guys, people probably have no idea what we're talking about, but they're very good.
They ran in the States on Sundance, and you can get their radio show on Audible, and Peep Show was on a cable network.
Peep Show in the UK was on Channel 4, but I don't know what it was in America.
Yeah, and then their new one, Back, is on Sundance again.
Yeah.
Cool story, bro.
The other bit of news that comes from another anonymous scooper is that the Fantastic Four cast has reportedly been revealed. So this has been going on for months now. Who is going to be Marvel's Fantastic Four? And we mentioned this scooper earlier. My time to shine. Hello, honestly, is saying that it's going to be Adam Driver is going to be played by
Reed Richards.
I said it right the first time. Adam Driver is going to be played by Adam Driver in the movie.
Sweet, sexy tree trunk of a man.
Yes, his very wide body is going to be be elongated.
He can stretch it now.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be playing Reed Richards. This is according to this tweet. Margot Robbie is going to play Sue Storm. Paul Mesclin is going to be playing Johnny Storm, and as we were saying earlier, I think it was last week, Daveed Diggs is reportedly going to be playing the Thing, aka Ben Grimm. What do you think, Paul Mescal? Mescal, the Irish.
I like giving Daveed Diggs a major role in anything I'm on board with. Reed Richards is a scientist. He's like Tom Brady. He trains for performance, not for looks. This makes perfect sense to me. Margot Robbie as Sue is a little obvious, maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't think I know Paul Mescal.
Paul Mescal is in a show. He was in a show called Normal People. He's an Irish actor, and he's very good in this show. Really, really good in that show. And he's also going to be in Gladiator 2.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be huge in the next year. Like they're ramping up to make him a big star.
Yeah, he's so good. He was engaged to Phoebe Bridgers, but they broke it off, unfortunately. And he's also May the Torse be with you. Very good, because Ben Torsolo. Ben Swolo was a thing. I remember that. Yeah, because he was pretty bent also. Yeah. But this is something that's kind of been going on for quite some time, and it actually it kind of plays in quite nicely with something that we were told a while ago, was that one of the reasons why John Watts originally left the project was because he wanted to cast younger actors in the roles. So it seems as though Marvel of course Marvel had its way, but Marvel wanted to have more established actors in the movie, and he wasn't really for that.
I think the last Fantastic Four movie with mostly actors instead of stars, I think that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, including the poor actors. Yeah,
I mean they did 2 of those movies.
No, I'm talking about the one with Miles Teller.
Oh, that one.
That one.
I'd forgotten about that film.
Fan Four Stick, you like to call it.
Fan Four Stick, yeah, Fan Four Stick.
Yeah,
a solid 4 out of 10 movie.
Does everyone know that we have a video on why John Watts left the Fantastic Four?
We do have one. Yes. Are you just going to play it?
Bill?
I got to play it. I'm going to watch the whole 5-minute video.
The quicker picker-upper. New Advil Plus acetaminophen.
How do you not have the
2 trusted pain relievers into one?
Because I'm on the small screen live channel. I didn't put that on the family account.
Why isn't it working?
Never say never. Why is it so hard to get the Fantastic Four right on the big screen?
Yeah, so everyone go watch it after live stream.
Yeah. I don't like listening to myself. Yeah. So that apparently is kind of, it's not locked in, but I'm pretty sure we're going to hear about this in the summer. I think I reckon they'll announce this at Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
This will be their big announcement, because there's no Disney, what's it called?
D23.
Yeah. It's not happening this year.
Really?
No, they skip every other year, I think.
Oh, okay.
So the only real thing they could announce it at is Comic-Con, and that would be a pretty big announcement. So yeah, I'll say the Roger Corman Fantastic Four was the best version. So, but not far off it, to be honest.
I remember watching it on a bootleg VHS and thinking, this is bad, but it's not that bad. I mean, I've seen worse superhero movies.
You know what I watched? I don't know why. I think I watched a video essay about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. And the whole thing was they were saying this movie is much better than a lot of action movies that are coming out now. Mainly because of the performance of the guy, of Ivan Ooze, the guy that plays Ivan Ooze in that movie. And that really made me feel nostalgic, because I remember as a kid watching that movie over and over again and thinking it was the coolest thing ever. And then when you watch it now, it's like, God, it's cheesy. It's really cheesy. But
like hackers.
But I have to say, there are some pretty good martial arts in that film. A lot of people pointlessly doing backflips to get away from other people, where you could easily just turn around and run.
Just step.
Step back to one side. But yeah, that made me quite nostalgic. But as far as this Fantastic Four film's concerned, I just think this film's never going to happen because, like, we've heard about it for so long. It was supposed to come out this year, I think. Originally, was it this year or next year? To 2020.
Yeah, but Feige's back on the throne. He's back from vacation, so it could do well.
And he's ruling with an iron fist.
The writer's strike.
That could be the writer's strike, and it could be a problem. Like if he has too much of an idea of what it is and he doesn't want to do it himself, somebody else is going to have to execute that vision. And I'm like, we keep talking about superhero movie fatigue, and I've actually just been reading a lot of Fantastic Four the past week, and a good Fantastic Four story is a big epic adventure, or else it's a very small, contained day in the life, slice of life thing. So I bet I know which one they're going to try for, and how do you make that work after Infinity War and Endgame and Avatar? Like,
you make Spider-Man break into the Baxter Building, like in the comics.
Yeah.
He does very easily in every comic. Yeah.
Well, he can learn.
Yeah.
You don't see the 3 times when Reed's lasers zapped him.
What's Antonio Banderas hinting at Galactus?
Well, that was a while ago that he's apparently going to be playing Galactus. Has he hinted at it now?
I think so. Yeah, today. Let me look.
You go. I am going to play Galactus. I mean, I play Galactus. Galactus in boots.
I think he confirmed it.
Did he confirm
or
it?
Fueled the rumors and stuff too.
To be honest, this cast would be huge. If they announced that cast, like Adam Driver, Margot Robbie, Daveed Diggs, Paul Mesclun, the guy that everyone's like, who? And Antonio Banderas. Like I actually had a bit of an argument with someone on Twitter about Paul Mesclun. Paul Mescal. I get his name wrong all the time.
Mescal. You have an argument with somebody?
Yeah. Because people are literally saying he's not hot enough to play Johnny Storm. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? If this is the thing, this is, I think, as an English person. So Normal People was a huge show in the UK when it was on. It's based on a very popular book, and the show did really, really well. And people in the UK went nuts for this guy. Like they literally thought he was like the hottest thing ever. He's a very good-looking guy. I think if he's quite rugged, which I think Americans probably don't like. They like more clean cut. But he's so there was somebody that
I get no chance to speak to that. You're just going to call out Americans and then keep moving.
Well, I don't know because this is like
that. He does that with Canadians too.
Yeah. But I was.
Today we're gonna have a whole entire show about the French and the English. I was just gonna say a bunch of stuff to them and just keep moving on. Not let Edward interject.
Don't get me started on the French. But
play this clip.
Go on, play the clip.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Construction. Anyways, he's getting a plaster mold of his head. Everyone thinks it's Galactus.
Okay.
Which
could be
is
Batman.
Yeah.
Could be anything though, really. He does a lot of movies. Could be for a museum.
That's the live action Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing next.
But
co-produced by Disney.
Can I rant on again now, please?
Or what are you ranting on about?
Well, I was
Twitter saying he's not good looking enough, which is classic Twitter.
No.
Well, someone is saying he's not good looking enough to play Johnny Storm.
Yeah, that guy's a bad opinion. So what?
But then said no. But then there were more people. So actually, someone that does quite a lot of shows. A guy called RJ. Do you remember him?
Resident Justice.
Yes. And he said I would never believe him and Tom Holland, like Tom Holland's Peter Parker, having a friendship. I'm like, it's called acting, man. That's like what are you talking about?
Well,
That's
and
the
that their relationship
dumbest
is not a
thing.
friendship. It's the relationship's a rivalry at the beginning. And
Yeah.
then even later on in the 60s and 70s books, it's still sort of like, will you do me a favor? Why should I do you a favor?
Well, I made a joke anyway that I think he didn't really understand, which is I said, well, Tom Holland's English and Paul's Irish, so they'll get on like a house on fire. And I don't think he understood the joke because he didn't say anything. But boom tish, no one understood.
Let's see if RJ wants to come on the show and talk about this with you.
Yeah, because I think when I saw Paul Mescal potentially cast as Johnny Storm, I was like, that is really good casting. Because out of all of those actors, you need someone that is like relatively like he's been working in he's been an actor for a while. He's also 27, and the other guy said, the guy that said he's not good looking, and I said he looks too old. So then they were like, well, he's like almost 30. He's like, well, no, he said he looks too old. He looks almost 30. He could almost be 40. And I was just like, okay. I mean, I know. I just get annoyed by people, and James tells me I shouldn't do. So maybe I shouldn't have said anything. But I was just like,
no, I get annoyed by people too. But it's always those. They always gonna be someone saying, oh, that person's too old, or that person doesn't have the right amount of hair, or that person has the wrong skin color.
I hate that sort of thing. It's like the people who are like,
did we not? Sorry, Shaun, but did we not learn our lesson with when Michael Keaton got cast as Batman in 1989?
No, nobody learned that lesson.
No. It's every time. Ben Affleck got cast as Batman. Everyone hated it. Now everyone wants him as the only Batman. It's just
people did the same thing with Robert Pattinson when he was cast as Batman.
Yeah.
And then you had people talking about the fact that he walked too slowly or something. I can't remember.
Well, there's I mean, one thing is that Johnny's probably still not a teenager because they've been the Fantastic Four for a while. That's the one thing I've heard about the movie is that it's not an origin story, and the Fantastic Four have been around for a long time. And the other thing is, this whole thing, what an actor can play, what an actor can't play in terms of age. Everybody makes fun of Grease because of how old everybody was in it, and that certainly killed the movie. The movie didn't do very well, and the soundtrack did worse. It's like, so they didn't sing and dance at my high school either. So
yeah. Yes, Hugh Jackman is too
tall and yep, that's exactly right. And not enough body hair, as Edward said, and too handsome.
Yeah.
So he can dance like one mother.
He does a great Peter Allen impersonation. I'm the only person who knows who that is, I bet.
Peter Allen. But you and probably Hugh Jackman. I think apart from Margot Robbie, which I agree with you, I think is too on the nose. I actually quite like that casting. I think it looks pretty much nailed on. Margot Robbie doing another franchise movie, another superhero franchise I'm like, are you not in enough franchises? It's like you're already Barbie, which is probably going to be huge and I'm pretty sure we'll have a sequel or something if that does well, which I think it will do. Then you've got, of course, Harley Quinn, and she's very good friends with James Gunn, so I'm sure that she's going to still be Harley Quinn in the future. I was wondering, maybe with all this Lady Gaga stuff playing, Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn in the Joker sequel, maybe she thought give that character a rest for a couple of years.
Yeah, yeah, but they don't do that. God, I was thinking about that today. They just won't. Somebody was telling me about Justice League, and about I talked about how I got so sick of Batman always being the smartest character in the room and knowing everything, and I just thought about the reason why Batman right now is more popular than Superman is because you can sell toys with Batman. So the company and the studio gets behind it a lot more. With Superman, you can get an action figure and you can have another action figure.
That's it.
So, I want to see this cast. I'd be perfectly happy seeing this cast.
Yeah. Danzig makes another good point, saying Margot wouldn't be terrible, but I'd like Jodie Comer or Vanessa Kirby. I think both of those would be more interesting, I think, than Margot Robbie personally. I think Margot Robbie's a very good actor, and I think but I also think with her comes a big payment. Like she's a huge star. Like she's one of the most well-known actors. Yeah, and with the likes, I thought Vanessa Kirby was a really good shout personally, because if you haven't watched, she's really good in Pieces of a Woman on Netflix. She's in the Mission Impossible films. She's very striking. And the more British actors in American superhero movies, the better. So, yeah.
But if Robbie's not doing franchises, what's she doing? Because the independent stuff she's been doing, other than I, Tonya, seems to sort of like sink without a trace. There was the
literally,
there was the one with where she played Queen Elizabeth the First, which she was great in, but
was that the one with Saoirse Ronan? That Saoirse Ronan played Mary, Queen of Scots. That is so good, and my wife quotes that movie all the time. That film, she loves that film. But yeah, that didn't do very well. Then her recent films really have kind of tanked. So Amsterdam did terribly, that she was in. That was the what's his face? The director that loves literally beating his actors up on set. That everyone thinks is amazing. David O. Russell.
That
literally makes all his actors cry, and then says it's part of the craft. I do not understand how that guy hasn't been cancelled personally.
Jeffrey Dahmer said it was all part of the craft too.
Oh, I just got that halfway through. Then what was the other film she was in recently? The guy that likes to make it, every one of his movies is all about Hollywood. He did La La Land.
Oh, Babylon.
That did terribly. That film. That was. Yeah, so her independent films, or not, they're not really independent, but her kind of, less franchisey films haven't done so well. Yeah. And Birds of Prey didn't do all that well either.
No.
So maybe she needs a win.
She's a really good actress. She's got her own production company, and I know that they've been looking for stuff. I've heard through the grapevine. So keeping doing franchise movies means that she has the freedom to do those too. So even if they're not doing well,
maybe. I just think it's a bit apart. Every other bit of casting I really like. I think that's a bit uninspired. I think that to me seems like too fan casty. Whereas Adam Driver, I thought was really left field. Because I would have never ever thought of Adam Driver as Reed Richards.
And then as soon as you hear it, though, it's like, oh, that's yeah.
I just hope they don't give him a haircut, because if they give him a haircut, then you'll see those ridiculous ears, and it just won't look as good.
He needs the white streaks.
Yeah, no, I'd say just leave the hair the way it is. You don't need to do that. Yeah, Barbie does look.
No,
good.
We need the salt and pepper.
I don't think so. Not if he's in the role.
We need the salt and pepper.
It's like, I will not budge. If there's no salt and pepper, I will not watch this movie. I need
Ray Winstone in it as well.
I need my seasoning, and no bloody Ray Winstone.
Ray Winstone as Ben Grimm. That would completely work.
I told you over there and hit the fucking like button. All right, you.
Yeah, just with his accent instead of a fake Brooklyn accent, he'd be fucking terrifying.
It's clobbering time.
See?
They just give him the last Marvel movie he was in. He had a really awful fake Russian accent. So I think they've had their fill with Ray Winstone now in the MCU. Yeah,
Brian Cox.
Brian
Cox. Yeah.
As
I
Reed?
don't know what. As I think the thing.
It's in any Marvel movie. We just need some Brian Cox.
He was. Wasn't he Stryker in the second?
Yes.
X-Men?
Yes, he was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was Fox. Maybe he'll show up at Deadpool 3. Maybe that is what all the rumors about. It's actually about Brian Cox and no one else.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That is something that Ryan, especially since he's like hot off Succession, that's something that Ryan Reynolds would probably want to happen. I bet you he's a fan of that show as well. And I just know that Rob McElhenney is going to turn up in this film somehow. He's gonna get him in, and all the players of Wrexham FC, they're all gonna be in it. They're all gonna be in that movie.
Has Wrexham has the Wrexham TV show played in the UK, or can you get it in Paris?
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Yeah, yeah, I watched it. It's good. It's good. Very good. Adam Driver's torso is the thing. Why is everyone obsessed with him?
Excellent casting.
Adam Driver's thing is the torso.
Yeah. There you have it. That's boomtish. That's what we wanted. Right.
It's hopeful casting for me.
Yeah.
So I've been reading a lot of Fantastic Four comics, and like I said, and I can tell you that the best Fantastic Four is whatever you read when you were 12, and you can look at it and go, "Oh, I remember what that was like." But, the rest of them are sort of like.
The new one is meant to be quite good.
I've heard good things about it.
I think it's just called Fantastic Four. Is it Full Circle or something like that? But it's supposed to be very good. I've got it. I haven't read it yet. I'm literally taking the whole month of August off. Yeah, I'm telling James this now. I am going to be working, but I want to spend time to read.
Going on another vacation. Is this number 10 for the year?
He lives in France. He lives in France.
I know.
It's my
what
business.
Are you doing in August? You're taking August off to read comic books?
Yeah, well, we're going to Italy for 2 weeks, and then we're going to my parents in England. So probably a week. I'll take off a week in that time, and read comic books on the beach. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, if it's all right. If it's not like 1,000,000 degrees, which it probably will be in forest fire.
I thought you were going to say if it's all right with you.
Is it all right with you, James? Is that okay with you?
What's up, Press Play? I believe that's Bob Huber. Nice to see you, Bob Huber.
Yes.
The Bob Huber experience.
Bob Huber. That sounds like a very cool show. Right. Should we talk a bit about Sam Raimi?
Yeah, we can talk about Barry.
Well, Barry we can save till later, can't we?
Yeah, we'll bring Danzig in.
Since
and
you're
Kaz,
the only one
if he wants to come on and talk too. Kaz is an anon, so he'll never come in.
What is it? QAnon?
Yep.
Sorry.
Let's not get into any lose any more subscribers this week.
Oh, God! Did you see Ron DeSantis' amazing performance on Twitter? I thought that was very amusing. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, James. He announced his candidacy for the presidency.
Oh, Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis on Twitter.
Yeah.
On Twitter, and it
with
was
Elon.
It was a complete shit show because it was just 8 minutes of nothing, and then they kept on coming on and they kept on getting cut off. And honestly, I was like, you could have done it anywhere else. Literally, Facebook would have been able to host that because they kept on saying it was too many people. It had 400,000 people. It's not that many, really. I mean, I know we've only got 14, but
but 400,000, and then the birth of the giraffe was 850,000, and that was back in the Stone Age.
Yeah, and he could have done it on any other platform. He could have done it on YouTube. He could have done it on Twitch. He could have done it on Facebook. It would have worked perfectly. He literally chose the only one where it definitely won't work, which is Twitter. It was, and there was there were echoes, and they just couldn't understand each other because they were saying something, and then the thing was repeating. It was so funny. Yeah.
Danzig, I'm glad you remember the name Terry because I
was trying to remember his name.
Forgotten who it was.
Oh dear. Yes, Dan saying, "Hey, we don't want to lose another subscriber. We still want Terry from last week."
What we have now are the important 14.
Exactly. But what I was watching that and I was thinking, this is actually bad news because this basically means that Trump is going to get the Republican nomination because DeSantis has no chance of winning that now. He just looks like a complete idiot.
Well, somebody on Twitter not long ago said, remember at this time in 2016 or 2015, this guy was ahead for looking for the Republican nomination, and it was somebody nobody could remember now. So,
yeah, probably might be the same thing now.
Yeah.
But yes, let's get off. Otherwise, if we lose another Terry, we'll always regret it. We'll never come back from that.
And if Trump gets elected, would one of the two of you sponsor my immigration, please?
Hey, and yeah, I'm hungry. Thanks to good food.
So, I was thinking this.
Boring.
That'll probably get us a copyright claim.
Really? That one thing?
11 seconds.
I think the thing that gets a copyright claim might be the ad.
Or get us a case of whatever it was. A case of Bounty.
Hashtag comeback Terry. For Terry, yeah. Terry just described again so he can unsubscribe. Well, he said later, didn't he? So inferring that he was going to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How else is he going to keep an eye on communists and Marxists like me?
Exactly. Or that forbidden word socialists. I never really understood why that's such a bad word in the United States.
Because they've made it one.
Yeah, they're very successful. Right-wing media. Anyway, Sam Raimi. Yes, there we go. Yes, it is me. I'd be excited if Sam Raimi were to do Doctor Strange 3. Yes, so the reports are that he's actually being looked at for Doctor Strange 3 and Avengers Secret War.
I don't know about Secret War, man. I love Sam Raimi, but it's just give us the Russos. The Russos need to do it.
Why are you so pro Russo brothers?
Because they're great at making Marvel movies, and they've got nothing going on.
They're great at making community episodes too. So
Collingwood. Welcome to Collingwood was a great film as well.
Yeah.
So do you think they've just been in a bit of a slump?
Yeah.
Like ever since Marvel.
They're producing stuff, aren't they? Though weren't they attached to a couple series, and then they were working on a feature as well?
A couple of series that, doing bad, not doing badly. Citadel is doing very well. It's just got renewed for
just got picked up, yeah.
Yeah, but it's really bad. It's a really bad show.
I don't know, sir. I've watched Silo, so.
But apparently it's doing very well in India. And but then the things that they produce are like the Extraction movies. They wrote and produced those. They do quite well. I mean, the first one did well. I think the second one will do very well as well. It's all Netflix stuff. But I have to say, the other day I watched The Grey Man. Is that what it's called? And it's very dull. It's very dull, that movie. And that's their film that they directed and wrote.
Yeah. And
some good action set pieces, but that's about it.
But even those they're just too much going on, and you can't track it. And what they used to be able to do was there were a couple sequences in Winter Soldier and in Civil War where it's just like I have no idea how you even begin to plan. I could not hire people to do this in animation. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you even begin to plan a scene like that.
I think Danzig might have a point. He says, agreed with James, Marvel needs the Russos for Secret Wars, also the writers, Marcus and McFeely.
I agree.
I think the writers might be more important here than the Russo brothers. Because because what I think about what the Russo brothers bring with them is if they were to come back, fine. Mm-hmm. I actually think the Russo brothers had very good second unit directors. So Sam Hargrave, who is directing the Extraction movies, he was the second unit director on, I think it was both of the Avengers movies. I think he did, and Civil War. I think he is a very, very good director. Like when you watch those Extraction films, you can see that he understands martial arts movies. He has a background in this. I actually think stuntmen, because he was a stuntman, stuntmen are actually making some of the most interesting directors nowadays. Like Chad Stahelski is, I think, brilliant. Hands down, one of the best action movie directors we've got today. John Wick Chapter 4 was incredible. We'll talk a little bit about John Wick 5 in a minute. But I think what the Russo brings with them are those sorts of people. They like to bring in those sorts of people as their second unit directors and stuff like that. And I think that's what's interesting about them. I think if they do things on their own, if they've written them as well, it tends to be less interesting.
Well, I think it's 50-50 though, because with Marcus and McFeely, the Russo brothers worked hand in hand making the script with them. And then when they would shoot, they would review the footage and be like, okay, we need to pick this up, we need to pick that up. They're constantly changing the story and the script with the writers while they're shooting the film. and like highlighting some stuff and lowering some other stuff.
Well, but everybody
They're
does that.
notorious for doing this. So I think that's why, in my opinion, I think it's 50-50 for those four people.
Most movies have a writer on set to make changes as they go along. So.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that with their process, the Russo brothers and with McFeely and Marcus, that process is very unique. So I think getting them back for Secret would be is what Marvel needs. I think especially with a big epic film that they're leading up to, I think that would be the best course for them to take.
Do you think they're going to scrap? Do you think they're going to scrap Kang Dynasty?
It depends on how far they are with the other pictures at this point.
Well,
I mean, it'd be easy. It could be easier just to swap him out.
They could easily scrap it. I think they'll probably wait to see how things turn out, but they might pivot. I think they'll probably pivot from Kang, maybe to Doctor Doom or Galactus or something. So,
what was the villain I was hearing about? I think it was it Galactus? It might have been Galactus, the one that they're looking at now to make the main villain. The idea is not to recast Kang, is just to kind of leave that storyline.
There is. I'm trying to remember it, but there is an Avengers storyline where Kang is also Rama Tut, and somehow they're connected to Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
so that would make sense.
Yeah, Kang is Rama Tut in another timeline,
right?
Like, and apparently he's like Reed Richards in another timeline or something.
Yeah. That was like the earliest Marvel thing dealing with different timelines. Most of the time they eschewed that and let DC have the alternate Earths.
And he's also Iron Lad too, or Iron Patriot.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, not Iron Patriot, Iron Lad. Yeah, Kang's also Iron Lad as well.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, with canon, they could swap him out. I wouldn't.
Big time.
In 2023, I wouldn't go for Rama Tut, but you know.
Yeah.
Everyone's been saying Rama Tut's coming in Phase 5. So.
You sure it's not the Living Pharaoh? I'm not sorry, the Living Monolith. The Living Monolith.
The Living Pharaoh. Wow.
I really think Kang is too complicated a villain to do that. I'm just a bit surprised they even went down that road.
I am too.
They set it up with the Council of Kangs.
Yeah.
Right? And that's, if you go watch Rick and Morty with Council of Ricks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They'll be able to pull it off. It's just whether they do it.
It's really unfortunate. This Jonathan Majors story is really unfortunate for all the people involved, affected by it, but also the future of the MCU. They kind of really pinned the mask to him, didn't they?
I wonder about this idea of unifying all the movies with, like, obviously we were building to Thanos from the first Avengers movie, and now we're whatever with Kang, after the blip, and Rama. Oh, okay, Rama Tut at the end. Okay,
and it was Jonathan Majors. Yeah.
Do we need? Does every cycle have to be all the superheroes on their way to a biggest adventure, or could we do a cycle of like what they do in between, and then go into another cosmic adventure?
Well, we got the.
It's just the same thing over again.
So. We got the post-credit scene in Avengers where they're eating shawarma.
No, we got the post-credit scene in Iron Man where the Avengers first come up. But I mean, what about the shawarma one? Just what they do?
Yeah, I was just making a joke. You said that what they do on the off time, and they're all eating shawarma at the end of the film. Yeah.
Oh no, I meant like when there isn't a galactic emergency, because it starts to get a little ridiculous. Like it starts ridiculous.
Season 1.
Yeah, but they can do more of that and then build to another big story.
That's what kind of screwed everything up. That's why Kevin Feige's all pissed off how they did the Disney Plus shows and She-Hulk and Echo and Miss Marvel.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I get why they do it, but my thing with the Kang storyline is like, well, it's kind of just like Thanos, another Thanos, isn't it?
Yeah.
How are they going to top the first 10 years, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. Great trick, Daffy, but you can only do it once.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of potential with Kang. Like, it's a very, very dangerous villain, and potentially more dangerous than Thanos.
Yeah.
They have kind of been teasing Kang for some time. I mean, Kang. We first actually saw Kang in Loki season 1, which was arguably the best out of these new Disney Plus shows. That and WandaVision were the two ones that stood out for me.
And that episode with Jonathan Majors was just the fact they went for they had the balls to just put the two of them in a shot and let the two of them talk to each other.
Yeah,
great.
It was so good. And I mean, I'm a bit upset about all of this because I do think Majors is such a good actor, and was literally the only reason why I enjoyed Ant-Man 3. I thought apart from him, I thought the film was fine, but he kind of pushed it over the edge for me to be actually very enjoyable, his performance. And if you, again, we have said it a few times, but if you watch the end credits trailer of, I think, end credits of one of the scene in one of, I think it's the second one. No, it's the first one. He is playing Ramatut in that thing. So I'm pretty sure that was the idea. Was to make him the big villain at the end.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Well, I was wondering if I could respond to some comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Press Play says the pushing that I have are the Russo brothers. Are they good directors, or is Marvel good at keeping them on track with their material? And then Kaz says, I think they mostly being carried by the Marvel machine. See, I disagree. Welcome to Collinwood was a great film. Their community episodes are amazing. The Winter Soldier was fantastic. And then they helmed Infinity War and Endgame. It helps to have that machine around you, but I think they pulled it off themselves with the writers and Kevin Feige.
I used to use the elevator scene from The Winter Soldier when I was teaching directing classes as to how you choreograph something in a small space, and beyond that, how it's shot to keep it interesting. And it's just
keep attention up.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant sequence.
Yeah, and the whole scene with Samuel Jackson and the SUV and the cops are coming after him. Like, I love that scene. I'll watch that over and over again. And the Press Play says, could they do a 10-year story build with the Midnight Suns? That's the problem with Marvel right now, is they're introducing so many things. And the last, like, Phase 4 was all about introduction for other characters. And then at the end of Eternals, they kind of tease Blade. But which direction are they going? They're going to be like, okay, we got to build up Midnight Suns, but we already brought in Moon Knight. Is that going to be the main focal point of Phase 5? No. Or Phase 6? No, it doesn't look like it. So they're going to be a side dish to everything that's going on? Because they have a lot of pies in the oven. So.
Yeah, it's really kind of too many things going on, I think.
I think at the end, I did kind of enjoy the film at the time, but the more I think about it, the more I think Eternals was actually a very misjudged movie, because it brought in a lot of stuff that wasn't connected to anything else. It was very left field for Marvel, really. Brought in a bunch of characters that we hadn't seen, and then it begs the question: what the hell were they doing during?
No, it's one of the classic plot devices.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we have to introduce the superhero team. What were they doing for the last 10 years? And we're going to spend the majority of the film talking about that. And I wonder if they're going to do the same thing with Fantastic Four.
Yeah, well, I think Fantastic Four, this is probably why they're taking so long with it. And they know now that they need to get the story spot on. And they need to get the casting spot on as well. Because I actually think the casting of Eternals was a bit weak.
Yeah.
And I think they literally just were like, oh, people like Game of Thrones. Let's just cast all the Game of Thrones people. And, I think Richard Madden is fine as an actor. I actually think he's a very televisual actor. I think he's TV.
Is that the guy that looks like the Winter Soldier?
Yeah. I originally thought it was him. Yeah. I do like Richard Madden a lot, I don't want to be mean, but I don't think he's movie Hollywood level.
Silver screen. Yeah.
And a lot of people want him from Bond. I don't think he'd be good enough to play Bond. I just don't.
No.
He's not a good enough actor.
You're right. You're absolutely right. He's not only a good television actor, he's a great television actor.
Yeah.
But on the big screen, he's just kind of dull.
It's a bit like Grant Gustin. I think Grant Gustin is a very good TV actor, but if you put him on a big screen, I don't think he's got the charisma to really, although Richard Madden he has that look about him, but there's something I was watching the other day, and I was just like, he's not. He's a bit too wooden in some scenes, unfortunately. I think his best thing he ever did was Bodyguard, which is great. But
so you're talking like kind of like Matthew Perry and David Schwimmer from Friends. Like
I actually think Matthew Perry was a very good actor. Is a very good actor. And
if you've ever seen episodes, Matthew Perry's performance as Matthew Perry is fucking brilliant.
Oh yeah, but I mean, from the leap from TV to feature film, that's hard.
It's hard to make.
They pick bad projects too.
Yeah. But the other one, I think
Willis. Right?
Yeah. Bruce Willis.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
The other actor in Eternals that I think he's so TV it hurts is Kit Harington. I think Kit Harington,
the original star of Warhorse. What's wrong with you, Edward?
I just think Kit Harington is a TV actor through and through.
He's very showy. He's very making sure he's acting now.
Yeah, I like him a lot, but I think the whole film suffered from that. I think all the actors weren't quite up to it. I think the script was actually relatively poor. And I think they gave Chloe Zhao a pretty much impossible task to make that movie half as decent as it ended up being. But then there's also the question of does nobody on this earth care about a great big thing that's come out of the earth, out of nowhere? Like, isn't that something the Avengers would look at and be like, what's going on here?
I think we need to go do something.
Yeah,
they got to address that in future films.
They won't. They'll forget about the Eternals. No, honestly, the Eternals I think is done. But they're never going to come back to any of those characters, which is why.
No, but they're going to talk about the giant god that's on Earth. Like someone's got to mention it.
Maybe they'll mention it in passing.
Moon Knight season 2.
When they do try and logic out their world, they become good. One of the few things in Black Widow, besides David Harbour's performance, that was good.
And Ray Winstone.
Ray Winstone with a Russian accent. How can you go wrong? But when she asked why nobody ever came after her, and they said, "Yeah, and make your friends angry." Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. Where she's the most vulnerable one, and partially she's protected just because they know that if something happens to her, that you've got all these other people who can lift cars that are going to be coming after them.
Yeah.
If there was more of that sort of thinking, even in the Eternals, they had been a little bit more clear about, we're not alone in doing this stuff anymore.
Ooh. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, I didn't hear this. The celestial hand is the source of adamantium, and rumor is the hand is adamantium, which is a plot point for Cap 4. Interesting.
Okay, that would be quite interesting.
So if they tied in that way, that would be good. But
that would make sense.
To do that.
Yeah. They watch this show. If they haven't thought about it, they'll do it now.
Yeah, Kevin Feige commented right at the beginning.
Yeah.
He's always telling us to have a good show because he's a good egg.
Yeah. Hey, there he is. There he is. I mean, that would be probably the way to go. It's like, they'll suddenly be like, well, we've been studying this thing. Somehow S.H.I.E.L.D. has got there. And or some other nefarious. Maybe they'll bring in what's his face, the one that created Wolverine.
Stryker.
Yeah, maybe they'll bring
Omega Red.
Yeah.
Who's that? Was there a guy called Adamantium? Who was that guy that was made out of adamantium, and then he was like a huge guy, and then
Wolverine? Sorry.
No. And then
Colossus.
Some guy died and not Colossus, and took over the body.
Yeah, they have vibranium in the MCU. They don't have adamantium, right?
No, there's no adamantium yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. The shield is vibranium.
Yeah, it's vibranium now because it reflects things back, just like Black Panther's costume, armor, suit, whatever.
Do they have unobtainium?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Everybody let that movie go, and no one ever said to him, James, unobtainium.
It's a thing. It's apparently a real thing.
It was always a joke for a plot device.
Yeah.
What are they looking for? They're looking for the unobtainium.
Cyber was his name. Look at all these characters with adamantanium.
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 Adamantinium.
Adamantinium.
Yeah,
it's like aluminium.
You call it. I don't know how they'd say it in America. Which character? Cyber. Bullseye's got adamantium. I didn't know that.
What, no pictures of Cyber?
No.
Marvel Legends.
Was this guy ever used?
Yeah, he was in the comics.
Oh, he's in the comics. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's him there. So he's like all made of adamantanium.
Adamantanium.
But look, there's like how many? About 3, 6, 9.
Dr. Octopus?
27.
The arms are adamantium now.
27.
Stiltman got adamantium stilts.
Stiltman.
Because that was a character we really had to come back and work on, was Stiltman.
Bullseye had his skeleton infused with adamantium after a battle with Daredevil left him completely broken and crippled. I didn't know that.
I don't think that's how crippled works, but
yeah. So Chris wants me to say aluminium.
Aluminum.
Aluminium. Adamantium.
See that I'd love it if there's a superhero who gets his like bones swapped out with aluminium, and he just it's just completely aluminium. So
every time
titanium.
Every time he takes a step, well, there is tin in the Metal Men.
Yeah.
It's a superhero made out of tin, which is close to aluminium.
Oh dear. So the breakable superhero.
that's M. Night Shyamalan's next sequel to his Breakable. Start a whole new cycle.
It's called Breakable. Yes. Tin. That's really good. That's really good. Transparent aluminium. Tin is brilliant. Kazakh, you got to write that. You got to write that.
I'm down for the Hergé reference.
Oh dear. MDF man. Oh dear. I
hope the people watching this stuff enjoy it as much as we seem to.
Yeah, I think it's late for me, so I'm just laughing at anything now. Right, shall we?
Yeah, I'm starving.
Yeah, Karen Page. Apparently, Deborah Ann Wool won't be in the MCU.
Isn't that old news though?
Yeah, it's good. She talks about it again. She never shuts up about it. She really wants that gig. I don't blame her, but people are like, "Oh, I like her, and I want her to come back." But I mean, I don't think the character really needs it. I don't think Daredevil is desperately in need of a Karen Page necessarily.
Not the way it's going. I mean, and not soon after. I mean, they were trying to ape the old comics and the Frank Miller stuff, which are now old comics. But they're trying to ape the 60s comics and the 80s comics at the same time, and they exist in two different worlds, even with the same cast.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. The other bit of news is that the Punisher is going to get his own series after Daredevil Born Again. So apparently they're doing another Punisher series.
Scoop confirmed.
Scoop confirmed by another scooper. So it's not really anyway. I
was pulling a GFI.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so I don't know what's going to happen there, but apparently that's the idea. What else do we have? They got. Yeah, Andy Samberg is going to play Scarlet Spider. He's voicing Scarlet Spider in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
so
okay.
People got very excited about that because apparently that's a fan favorite version of Spider-Man. I'd never heard of this version before.
It's if I remember right, Scarlet Spider is the clone, the Peter Parker clone that Jackal made when he cloned Gwen Stacy in the 70s, and then he comes back. Yeah, then the clone comes back and introduces himself as Ben Parker, and he tries. So it's a chance for them to do teenage Spider-Man again.
Hey, where's a hoodie?
Yeah, he eventually became the Scarlet Spider. Yeah, so it was much like the idealized version of the '60s Spider-Man comics.
Okay. Well, apparently the voice it'll be the voice of Andy Samberg of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Lonely Island. I like him quite a bit, actually. He's another actor that's very, very TV. Although there was a movie that he did not too long ago that I really love, which I'm forgetting the name of, which is basically a rip-off of
Popstar.
No, Popstar Never Stop Never Stopping is brilliant. That is brilliant. But I'm trying to think of the one that he did, which is what's that film where he does the day over and over again? Groundhog Day. It was basically another version of that movie, and I need to find it because it's going to annoy me if I can't remember. I liked it a lot.
Danzig says Palm Springs. Is that
Palm Springs? That's it. That's Danzig. You know everything. Maybe you're just very fast at googling. But that was a really good show. Danzig also has he has a question. Could the Daredevil show be set during the blip? And that would explain the absence of Karen and Foggy, unless they've recast Foggy with James Gandolfini's son. Actually, that would be really cool.
No, that was a rumor. That was. Yeah. I thought that was confirmed, actually.
No, I don't know. Probably, I don't know.
That they're bringing Foggy back and not Karen. I applauded them for trying that, but I actually didn't like either of those actors very much. I thought they were really wooden and sort of like High School Musical-y.
Yeah, I agree. I think the actors that really stood out for me were Charlie Cox and John Bernthal. I thought were very good in the roles they were put in, and also Vincent D'Onofrio I thought was good as Kingpin. I liked him as Kingpin. I know you thought he was too like.
Yeah, I'm not much of a D'Onofrio fan to begin with.
Yeah,
I watched this film the other night called Pawn Shop Chronicles, and it's the guy who directed that Paul Walker movie where he's running scared.
Right? Is that the name of the movie? Running Scared.
Ice rink.
I don't remember. I don't remember that movie.
So it's an anthology of stories that are all intertwined with this pawn shop, and Vincent D'Onofrio's in it, and you can tell he's just like, look at me act. And the whole time I'm watching him, I just hear Shaun in my ear going, look at me act, look at me act. Yep.
Well, even in Men in Black, he's very much like that.
Yeah, but I think it works in Men in Black. That's me. That I kind of liked, because it was so weird and it made sense for it to be so weird. But
so that's Karen Page done. Sorry, looks like she's not coming back. Big whoop. I mean, it's people seem to be annoyed about it, but I'm just like, well, it's fine. It's fine.
About what?
About Karen Page, about Deborah Ann Wool not coming back as Karen Page. I just think people have got the hots for her because she's.
People are just annoyed about everything, man.
Yeah,
they just want what they want. They don't get what they want, then they'll blast it on Twitter. But everyone will be happy when they watch it.
Make the Netflix show again. Talking of Netflix, Blockbuster took shots at Netflix on which was hilarious. I thought.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was very funny. This is for the for Netflix stopping the password sharing thing.
Yeah.
I don't really understand what I still seem to have everyone on my Netflix anyway. They haven't taken anyone off, so I don't really understand what
Canada they have.
Have they?
Yeah.
Is it like just the only the people in your that use your IP address can use it or something?
Yeah.
That's very stupid.
So this is a tweet.
Yes. A friendly of mine. Go on.
That was my second favorite tweet last week. My favorite was the Peacock one.
What's a Peacock, right?
Let's read this for the podcast first. So
okay.
The tweet is a friendly reminder that when you used to rent videos from us, we didn't care who you shared it with as long as you returned it on time at Netflix. That's pretty good.
Yeah, grammatical mistake, though. It's not a full stop after us. It's a comma. Come on, ChatGPT. I'm sure that was written by ChatGPT.
So was it this one?
Yeah, right after Max launched.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
I
know you're all
very
very
good
disappointed,
tweet.
but I will not be dropping the first half of my name anytime soon.
That's very good, Peacock. Very good.
And that's funny.
Dear.
A YouTuber got demonetized because he said peacock in the first 15 seconds of his video, and they thought he was swearing.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. So
is this another one of your lies, James?
No, I can
no,
show you the video if you want.
it sounds for
I don't
real.
lie.
It sounds like they have an
Who lies?
AI.
Who says I lie? I'm very proud that I'm an honest person, Edward. Why are
It's
you
not
making
the-
me upset?
You lie!
I'm sorry. I didn't mean you. I just meant you like to pull Shaun's leg about things, don't you? Sometimes. What do people? Chris is saying Finn Jones is Karen Page. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Danzig saying I miss video stores and deciding what film to watch based on if they had a copy and the synopsis on the cover. Yeah, I miss that too. I watched some weird ass films back in the day.
Dude, I worked at Blockbuster when I was in film school, and there was like 80 copies of Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, and 1 copy of Citizen Kane. You know, and I always feel like they bring up Deuce Bigelow. I'm like, you sure you want to watch that? Why don't you try out this film here?
Yeah,
you ever see Heaven's Burning with Russell Crowe?
I say I watched literally all of the American Pies. Like, that's what I did. The films that I used to get, like a lot of what's his face, Steven Seagal movies. I don't know why. I just liked. I love action movies, but I liked the covers, and I just used to go, I'll get that one, I'll get that one. And in France, they're very kind of fast and loose with the age restrictions. So you're like a 12-year-old kid going up with something that has like a great big. Well, in France, they don't even really have 18 rated movies. That's just porn. So everything else is just whatever. It's like anyone can watch it. But like I remember I watched The Shining. I did that with The Shining. All the Saw films as well. I watched shit that I shouldn't have been able to watch because we had a subscription to what's called Video Future in France.
When I was a kid, of course, before video, not long before, but before, I would watch. For some reason, I came up with the rule when I was about 10 that I would watch anything on TV that had been made between 1932 and 1952. Anything.
Wow.
And I would go through the TV.
You made this rule up.
Yeah, I would go through the movie listings in the paper and see what year they were made, and then make sure I watched that movie. So I wound up watching lots of crazy shit. I remember being 12 and watching Bergman films. Oh, that's kind of interesting, and not really understanding what the hell I was looking at. But there was a knight playing chess with death. I got that part. That was cool.
My friend Shaun, who's in the chat most weeks, I think he's sleeping now. We grew up together. And he would go to Blockbuster every Tuesday and get all the new rentals. And so he's seen over, oh man, I don't have to get his list. He's seen so many movies, and he'd watch all the movies that came out that week. And and then we went to film school together. But I can't even remember what my point was for that. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that I think the old way of doing that, renting DVDs, actually meant that you watched more movies than you do now. Mm-hmm. Even though
go ahead.
Well, I was saying, even though you've got like all these subscription services, I very rarely watch a movie on Netflix, or any of them.
Yeah. So shows really, but when I was in film school, our homework was watch 2 movies a night, right?
Well,
yeah,
so
and I worked at
never sleep.
We got Blockbuster, so I got 10 free rentals a week, so that worked out well.
No, okay.
No, you go to school, then you go to work, then you come home, then you watch 4 hours of movies, and you go to bed after you do your homework.
That's a tough life.
That's kind of the life I was living when I was 10, except I'd come home and watch movies.
Yeah. Danzig says Fubar. We were going to talk about Barry today, but I think it's a bit too late. So I'm thinking maybe Saturday. Danzig said he'll do a stream with me to talk about Barry, and then we might have Steve Kassan. Retrograde Productions might have him come on Saturday as well and talk about Fubar. He's a big Arnold fan. Maybe we'll talk about Fubar and Barry on Saturday.
Fubarry.
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 That's a pitch
so
that AMC wants.
it is. Just quickly before we go, John Wick 5 has been confirmed as being in early development.
Nice.
So that's good for me because I love the John Wick movies. I love action movies. I love Keanu
It's
Reeves.
bad for me because I gotta scrap our latest video then.
Why? Oh, because the new information.
5 on 1 condition.
Yeah. Well, they obviously got the condition. And then, what on earth is happening with Robert Rodriguez?
We could do a whole show on that.
I was going to say we could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, well, we'll do that next week or
next week.
Maybe one day next week we'll do
but show. The news with Robert Rodriguez is that his new film Hypnotic, starring Ben Affleck, has done terribly at the box office, really badly.
Well,
and
there's
Ben
no
Affleck's
press for it.
Well, that's the thing. It was released in very few cinemas, and no one went to see it. And apparently, it's a complete mess of a movie.
Oh no!
But it's fun. It's a mess of a movie, but fun. That's what I heard. People said it was really dumb, but actually quite, not terrible. But I think it's been completely forgotten. And
can we get Rodriguez back from the 90s, please?
Well, this is the thing. Interestingly enough, the Alita Battle Angel sequel. The rumor is that Disney wants to make it, but they don't want Robert Rodriguez to direct it.
They want Cameron to direct it.
They want Cameron to direct it.
Yeah.
Is he going to take somebody else's project at this point?
Well, it was originally his project. Alita Battle Angel was originally his project, and then he gave it to Robert Rodriguez. The only thing I'm like is if he does that, will Cameron ever get his Avatar movies made?
Well, if he makes Alita Battle Angel 2, is it going to be like an action horror movie like Aliens?
I might love it then.
Yeah. or will it be a ripoff of Dances with Wolves, like Avatar,
or Pinocchio?
Or Pinocchio, yeah. Or what's the Disney animated film? Not Pinocchio, the other one. Not Mulan. Pocahontas.
Oh, Pocahontas. Yeah.
So, someone described Avatar to me as Pocahontas with Smurfs.
Or Ferngully.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, it's Ferngully.
I always thought Ferngully. Chris, I only watched Cannery Row once. I watched a whole ton. Oh, I'm sorry. Sean, how many times did you watch Cannery Row or Bugsy Malone in that pre-vid era? 10 movies on HBO at most at that point. Yeah, I didn't get HBO until I was a teen. So I do remember watching Taxi Driver multiple times when I was like 13. Bugsy Malone, I watched a lot of Bugsy Malone and Last Starfighter. Over and over again. But yeah, the HBO was like they would play the same movie over and over again, and that became like a touchstone for people because we all were, had the same feed.
It's like watching A Christmas Story on TBS every Christmas morning.
I remember watching it and taping it off HBO because I hadn't seen it in the theater, and I stumbled across an HBO, and I thought this thing's brilliant.
Did you see the sequel?
No, because I think this thing's brilliant when I was in that age, and now I've seen it a billion times.
It's still brilliant, though. I watch it every year. It's a family tradition. But I watched the sequel, and after 10 minutes, I just started skipping through, and I turned it off.
Yeah,
you can't that's iconic. And I'm thinking, actually, I was thinking about this yesterday. Why, with these reboots and remakes or sequels, they're unnecessary. So just leave them alone. I know this is an old argument, but when it comes to stuff that can't be remade or rebooted, just leave it alone because you're not going to make all the fans happy, right?
Well, it's not just you're not going to make the fans happy, but you tend not to make anything good.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys read my Beetlejuice 2 script that ChatGPT came up with? It's probably going to be the script of the movie.
No.
And you won't get any credit, and nor will ChatGPT.
Every time I hear ChatGPT or AI, I die a little inside.
Yeah. You know what's funny about the French and ChatGPT?
What? Oh, Edward.
If you say ChatGPT in French, what you're actually saying is "Chat, I farted," because GPT is "I farted."
Yep, that's AI for you.
Yeah. That's exactly what it gives you as well. I farted.
Hot gas.
Yeah. Did you see the thing about the lawyer who had ChatGPT write a document for him?
I heard that.
it quoted cases that didn't exist. So now this guy might be disbarred.
The new version of ChatGPT, it can scour the web now, which is very, very scary.
Yeah,
because
I
remember because I was
GPT or AI, I die a little inside.
I know.
Say what?
Killing me. You guys are killing me here.
I tried using it a bit for small screen, the free version.
What are you talking about?
No, I use I use it for SEO articles when I can't be bothered to write them myself. When I'm just like, I'm too tired and I hate SEO. But to get the numbers on the site up, you have to. But I was like, I'll try a news article, and I said, write a news article, British English, blah blah blah. Base it off this link, which at the time I was thinking it could possibly do okay with the link, but at the time it couldn't actually read the link. And what it had done was not only did it make up shit, it made up quotes from people, and it was saying like so and so said this was, and it had a massive quote, and I was like, you are just a liar. It's like none of this. And I was trying. And the other thing it did for an SEO article, it invented a spin-off show for the show that I was having to write about. So it was about Firefly Lane, I remember, which is a popular show on Netflix at the moment. And it invented a spin-off show called Firefly Lane: London's Calling. And I was like, does this exist? So I looked it up everywhere. It doesn't exist. It just made it up completely. So yeah, all those kids that are using ChatGPT to write their essays, you're gonna be in for a treat when teachers are like, "This World War III never happened." It's like there was no the 12 hit.
It's your Wi-Fi.
It's not my Wi-Fi. I've got perfect Wi-Fi. I'm plugged in. It's somebody's Wi-Fi. It's not mine. James, you're the one in the hot zone at the moment. Actually, are there any forest fires around you right now? I've heard there are lots in Alberta.
All north and west of us. I think last year or the year before we were surrounded by them, but now it's
Is that why it's so red in your house? Are you literally engulfed in the flames of hell?
Around me, yeah. And I got my coffee mug going, this is fine.
And they're in there's big fires in Nova Scotia too. That surprised me.
Yeah, Halifax, and there's over 1 million hectares being burning right now around us.
I just came back from Halifax. I love Halifax. Don't leave it alone.
No snow, but we did get rain, which is nice. So the rain helped up north with the fires too. But it hasn't been hazy or orange outside. We had it for one day. But when we had the fires all around us the other year, it was just like apocalypse sky.
Wow. And on that note, we should end the show.